Dave Refsich, Donardo, and Jake Butt. Always a great stop here. Lots to look forward to. There's a lot of buzz around the offense and quarterback Mark Gronowski. What excites you as we get ready to watch the Hawks?
Okay, I have three storylines. Two of them are pretty boring. Okay, can Phil Parker, one of the best defensive coordinators in the country, can he replace the 8 starters? LeVar Woods, one of the best special team coaches in the country, can he have his special teams ready to win a game when asked to, which he has done quite a bit. The exciting one is Mark Gronowski and Tim Lester at quarterback and as offensive coordinator. I think all eyes are on those two.
Yeah, it feels like a safe bet, the first two, that Phil Parker is going to have this defense ready to play. LeVar Woods.
I said it was boring.
Yes.
But up to it. Yeah.
Year one with Tim Lester, we saw this offense finally. They had an identity. They took clear steps, and yet there's still so much room for improvement. And of course, we're excited about the quarterback. I think he's the most talented quarterback they've had in a number of years, and the most dynamic quarterback that they've had as far back as I can remember. I want to see him outside of the pocket. That's where the explosive plays happens. I think this Iowa offensive line, when they're at their best, it's the offensive line that drives the offense and the team. They got two of the best offensive linemen in the conference.
You know, I was talking to Tim Lester before practice, and interesting enough that the only team that looked like them offensively, schematically, was UCLA with Eric Bieniemy as the offensive coordinator. And now he knows how people are going to defend his West Coast attack. It was pretty interesting.
Yeah, so Tim Lester came in last year. They improved by leaps and bounds, primarily in the run game. As we know, quarterback play, they had injury issues, and it wasn't where they needed it to be. Wide receiver-wise, I'm interested in seeing how this group has developed as well. It does feel like as they get older here and more familiar with the system, that's got to be a good thing.
Yeah, and in fact, I would say of all the positions, the learning curve of quarterback and wide receiver, might be the most complicated because there's so many different formations. It's such a wordy offense that I think there's a lot of pressure on the quarterback and the wide receivers. I think the offensive line is zone blocking right, zone blocking left. They put in the middle zone. I mean, it's not all that difficult mentally for the offensive line, but the wide receivers and quarterback have a lot to do in this offense.
Yeah, they got a blend of older guys and some young, exciting prospects, but it all works in unison. It truly is a team here, and if the offensive line can take a stride, if the run game can even improve, all of a sudden you have play action that's going to help those guys create separation. And Addison Ostrenga, the tight end, one thing I'm excited, we're the home of tight end U right here. I'm excited to see the Hawkeye tight ends as well. So when Gronowski gets out of the pocket, that's just an element they haven't had here. It gives them extra numbers. All of a sudden you have a quarterback that can make a play when it's 3rd and 9 and there's no one opened. Iowa hasn't had a quarterback that can do that. So excited to see his athleticism.
You know, Jake, it's interesting. Even when we're not a tight end, you kind of give us a tight end rundown.
I'm showing my hand a little bit, yes.
Right, but this is the place to do it, and I'm excited to see Ostrenga, the latest, one would think, in a really good line of Iowa tight ends. The schedule is really interesting. They were 7-1, remember, at home last year. They got challenging games all over the place, frankly, but they got 3 really big ones at home. We'll dive into that a little bit later in the show as well. So a really good Iowa hour coming up here. The defense, always a strength here, and last year was no different. Top 3 in the conference in takeaways, interceptions, and forced fumbles. Their plus 12 turnover margin was their second best in the last 20 years, a program that leads the nation in interceptions over the last 10 years combined. 2 of the stars of that D, Aaron Graves and Xavier Wampa with Jake.
All right, guys, I want to start with the hard-hitting questions. So, Aaron, we'll start with you.
Alrighty.
Big summer.
Yep.
Got married. You got a baby on the way.
Yep.
Tell me about the wedding. Tell me about how you're feeling going into the season.
Yeah. We decided to do everything our first year. So, got married, got a baby boy on the way. The wedding was a fantastic day. We had a great time. I think everybody enjoyed themselves a lot. I had a lot of teammates there. It was a fun day, and I couldn't really ask for much more. Then went on the honeymoon right after, and we're expecting a baby here soon. So doing a lot.
Congratulations. How's the catering work for a wedding when you got a bunch of Iowa Hawkeyes to feed?
Just by the person. So just have the meal plan and say, okay, this is how much you're getting. So we made sure we had a lot of appetizers before for them, so they weren't too hungry after. And we ordered some pizza after the meal too. So
awesome.
People were well fed.
Yeah, so a lot of calories needed. Yep. All right, Xavier, you had an awesome offseason as well. You moved from strong safety to free safety. What went into that decision, and what changes for you from an X's and O's standpoint?
Really, it was just Coach Parker. He was putting me in another position. I have some of the most experience on the back end, so just stepping into that more vocal leadership role, help the guys just fly around and play fast.
Looking at the starting unit, the depth chart, it's all fourth-year guys, fifth-year guys, six-year guys, not a lot of transfers. So you guys know each other even going back to recruiting. Talk about the chemistry that you have in the defensive meeting room.
Yeah, I think this group has been together for a long time, like you said. Yeah, we only have a couple transfers. And the transfers that we do have, I think, gel really well with the culture here. And I think that's by design, too. Our coaches want those type of players with us. And I'm really excited for this year. I think the team chemistry and, like, the bond we have away from the building, too, is really good this year.
How does that play into the back end of the defense?
Oh yeah, us, we've been taking either twos reps. We've been playing together alongside each other for the past couple of years. So just having that chemistry, knowing and being on the same page with each other so we can just fly around.
So the linebacker room, some new faces, still veteran guys, but new faces getting the start. What's your level of trust with those guys, and what do you have in the linebacker room?
Yeah, I mean, I'll say, like, from a D-line perspective, I think they've grown a lot, even just from last year, that group, and giving us the right call, getting us aligned properly before the snap and everything. I've seen a lot of growth in that area, like the vocal part. I think they're a lot more loud, more confident, and I see a lot of them just flying around, making plays, which we love to see as D-linemen. It clears the picture up for the whole defense when they're flying around, filling gaps, and making plays.
You know, Xavier, for Phil Parker, I mean, every single year we can expect Iowa to have one of the best defenses in the country. If you had to explain the magic, what makes him such a great teacher, and what allows you guys to succeed every single year?
The details. He's really key on the details. The little things is what sets us apart. So just doing your job, making sure you're aligned correctly, making sure you're going through your progression defensively, and making your eyes in the right place, lets you fly around, make sure you're on the same page as everybody, and just lets us go.
One more for both of you. You've been with Kirk Ferentz for a really long time. He's going to break the record for career wins by a Big Ten coach at some point this fall. What does he mean to you, and how special is that moment going to be?
Yeah, I mean, Coach Ferentz is a fantastic coach. I mean, going to be a Hall of Famer, all-time great college coach. He was a big reason why I loved Iowa so much growing up. I was a big Hawk fan, and just like the tradition and the culture that he set for us, he's always steady. And so through the highs and lows, he's always just put your head down and work. And I think that bleeds into the other position coaches and into the team. And so under his leadership, I think it makes things really easy to be successful. And we're really excited to be the team that gets that win for him to break the record. But he was telling us, like, you know, I don't think he's too worried about it. I think he's just like, it's just another game.
That's how he is. How about you?
He doesn't want it to be a distraction at all. So, but he's a real players coach. Like, he has a good relationship with all the players. He knows everyone's birthday, talks to everyone's parents. He has, like, open policy. If you have something going on, he's like a person you can go talk to, and the whole staff's really similar to him as well. So it's just been a blessing to have him as our head guy and really run this program.
Awesome. Well, it's a treat to watch you guys play defense. Looking forward to watching you guys this fall. Thanks.
Thank you.
So much more to come on the show. Iowa's offense improved significantly last year under new coordinator Tim Lester. Jerry talks with the Iowa OC, plus we break down what we saw today. Next, and later in the show, Kirk Ferentz on the precipice of history. The Iowa coach joins me with thoughts on his team's progress so far in camp. It's our Iowa Practice Tour special on the Big Ten Network.
How's Mark Renhouse doing?
He's doing a great job. You know, we're a week and a half in. Guy came in, played 55 college football games, and it shows. And still learning, you know, still running some plays for the first time, second time, third time, getting comfortable. But great start. Really, you know, has become a leader quickly on our team, and so it's a good start.
Some things he needs to improve on?
I think it's reps. I got to get him reps, you know, and we've done a lot of individual, just getting him all the different throws within the offense. Some are exactly like he did at South Dakota State, but some are new. And so we've been trying to lean heavily on those new throws, things that they didn't do. He's pretty darn good at the things he's been doing for 4 years of starting. But that's really what we need to focus on, is just get him comfortable with those throws.
You have 3 offensive linemen returning to what looks like a really good offensive line. Talk about those 3 and maybe some depth.
Yeah, I mean, with the 3, you know, obviously Logan Jones, Bo Stevens, Jennings Dunker, probably our 3 best linemen, came back. Our other 2 ended up in NFL camp, so we're happy. And but those 3 really athletic and really run. Caden Pieper was our 6th lineman that would go in and goal line situations. He's kind of stepped in at the right guard spot, but all 3 of them can run at a very unique level for 320-pound kids. And then we have a 3-way battle for the last spot. And so we got some depth, we got some experience, and as you know, everything goes by those guys. So we're fortunate to have that group.
A little banged up at running back.
Yeah.
I thought Jazz looked terrific today. Talk about Jazz and maybe talk about some of the guys we didn't see.
Yeah, Jazz is just steady Eddie. He's been playing for 2 or 3 years now. Kamari Moulton has a slight hamstring. You know, he's been held out for a couple practices now, and TJ got dinged up a little bit. He's been out, but it's allowed young guys to step up. You know, Xavier Williams is a redshirt freshman who's a big bruising back. Nathan McNeil is a true freshman out of Florida who's really dynamic and catch the ball really well. So really excited about the depth. You know, it might be more of a committee running team this year as opposed to Caleb Johnson right and left. But I'm excited about what they each can do and bring to the offense.
You know, most practices in preseason, you're balanced run and pass. It looked like you were balanced today. Talk about the wide receiver group.
Yeah, it's the most improved group without question. You know, this is a wordy, complex offense, and last year there was a lot of learning going on. This year they're playing faster. I mean, our receivers are running because they know what they're doing. They're not running lines on a paper anymore. They're making adjustments on coverage, and so I'm excited. We got 4 seniors in the room. You know, Seth Anderson and Caden Weegan have been, you know, around, and they're really understanding what's going on, and obviously our tight end. So we got to keep throwing the ball, get Mark comfortable, continue to develop the wide receivers, and you know, and we're still going to lean on the guys up front. So you know, we're trying to be 50-50. Last year, by the end of the year, with some quarterback injuries, we had to lean one way.
Right.
But I think everyone's goal is to be 50-50.
What's left undone before the opener?
I think it was just a lot of special situations. You know, we got in a 3rd down scenario today. Phil had it coming from all over the place. I mean, that cover 0. I don't know if he runs much cover 0, but he does against us. So practice is fun. Corner, got to focus on that next couple weeks so we're ready.
Let's go back to the quarterback for a minute. Who's behind Mark?
We have kind of a battle going on.
Like
you know, Hank Brown came in from Auburn. Started a couple games in the SEC last year, did a good job. He was a redshirt freshman last year. He'll be a redshirt sophomore. And then Jeremy Hecklinski came in. He's a redshirt freshman out of Wake Forest. So they both have been in college. They're both learning the system. You know, Hank's a little bit ahead because he's here in the spring. He's the only one. They all got here in 2025 at some point. None of them were here last fall. So it's fun to watch those 2 battle. I'm kind of evening their reps up and putting them in with the 1s a little bit just to get Mark with the 2s, just to keep everybody learning together. But it's a good group. They get along. They're all learning a ton. So it's a fun room to coach right now.
This is your 2nd year at Iowa. How more comfortable are you with knowing the competition?
A ton. I mean, last year, especially with, you know, we run a Shanahan system, right? So we're very condensed, and not a lot of people do that. So we went into a lot of games last year really not knowing what we were going to see. It was great when we played UCLA, or we played a team that just played UCLA because the enemy had a lot of the same stuff. It's the only time to see how they're going to line up to our formation. So if you look early on in the year, we became a pretty good 2nd and 3rd quarter team once we figured out what they were doing. But we have film against a lot of the teams now. More and more people are running condensed sets with motions and stuff. So way more comfortable with my surroundings and the players and obviously the opponents. And coach has been doing this schedule for 27 years. And I went the whole first year that every single event we had was like, we're going to do it like we did last year. And I would raise my hand. I'm the only new guy. I'm like, can you guys tell me what that is? You know? And I'll never forget the first time was this January. The first time he said, hey, it was a junior day. He's like, we're going to do it like we did last year. And I pounded the table. It's like, I know what we're doing today, guys. First time in 365 days. I know the plan. Everyone else has been doing it for 17, 25 years. And so it's way more comfortable than it's been.
That's great. Have a great year, Coach.
Thank you.
Thanks for your time.
Taking a look at Gronowski's numbers, 2-time national champ at South Dakota State. As you'd expect, his completion percentage much better, closer to the line of scrimmage. But interestingly, his Pro Football Focus grade is better when he throws it deep. 14 TDs, just 2 picks on balls that traveled more than 20 yards in the air. I think all Iowa fans are really interested in watching Mark Gronowski. There's been so much build-up. We got a chance to observe him in practice. It seems like the obvious place to start at quarterback. What did you guys think?
Well, he looks to be a perfect fit for what Tim Lester wants offensively. I think his growth mentally is going to be even more than physical. This is a very wordy offense. It's West Coast style. Lester knows
goes because of the verbiage and the motions are to reveal the defense's hands. It's to be used as an advantage. To me, he's clearly the best quarterback that they've had in a number of years. He throws a very catchable ball, but I think the element that's going to really unlock this offense is his rushing ability. You know, run game is really basic mathematics. It's just a game of numbers. And with this offensive line, this is an elite offensive line. When your quarterback can pull and run the ball, suddenly you don't have to block that defensive end. You can read him. So you get +1 numbers in the box. So his ability to run and keep defenses honest is going to help open up everything in the offense.
They've never been a team really that has put their quarterback in harm's way.
Right.
And so if they do some of the side play, it'll be a little bit of a change. And you know, you're gonna have to be more than one deep at quarterback. So it would be different for the Iowa offense, but it'd be a little risky.
And they do feel better about their depth as well. They have 2 transfers, both of whom had some moments here today that were pretty impressive. Kirk Ferentz was talking to me before practice and really praised the intelligence of Gronowski and said that has come through a guy who's got an engineering degree, so stands to reason he's pretty bright. And he said he's really picked up on the offense well. Okay, so aside from that, you lose Caleb Johnson. So running back, I think, is a big focus. Jake talked about the offensive line, which, man, I mean, you compare it to a couple of years ago, Jerry, it's really a lot better. So run game, what do you think?
Yeah. Tim Lester mentioned they've got 6 guys competing. It's going to be their best and deepest offensive line in a little bit. They were injured at running back. I thought Jazz had a really, really good day. He has one speed. I mean, everyone talks about the way he works and how good a player he is.
Yeah, I think when Iowa's offensive line is rolling, that's the engine of the entire team, not just the offense, because it allows them to play ball control. It keeps that elite defense on the sidelines, and this offensive line has a chance to be the best that we've seen in a really, really long time. Watching them all step in unison in that outside zone scheme, and I think both coaches said that, Coach Lester and Coach Ferentz, it'll be a running back by committee. They're deep. There's a bunch of freshmen that were getting opportunities today that look really, really special. So, and I got to talk about the tight ends.
I knew I was going to give
I'm going to jump the gun on this one.
Was really good.
I think he's a breakout candidate in this conference, and he really, this West Coast system, they get into play action and they give their tight ends, options. He's a breakout candidate in the conference.
You should give him an opportunity not to talk about the tight ends one of these days.
Or maybe
it would hurt my feelings.
Just a little tight end corner, right? With just a separate show where Jake talks about the tight ends. This would be a good place to do it because they've had some good ones, and Ostrega's certainly one of them. We'll chat with Kirk Ferentz next, what he's seen from the offense so far in camp, plus big picture on the Hawks as they head into 2025. That's next on the Big Ten Network.